Cali, Colombia, 1995. The Drug Enforcement Administration, working with the Colombian National Police, raids an office belonging to the Cali Cartel. What they find inside changes how the DEA understands organized crime forever. The office is not a drug warehouse. It is not a weapons stash. It is a signals intelligence facility, built by the Cali Cartel, running for years undetected. The cartel had been monitoring every phone call going into and out of the Colombian cities of Bogotá and Cali, including, according to DEA records, calls between the United States Embassy in Bogotá and Washington. A Colombian drug cartel had been wiretapping the American government. That was the kind of organization the Cali Cartel was. While Pablo Escobar of Medellín was assassinating presidential candidates and blowing up airliners, the Cali Cartel was running the most sophisticated criminal counterintelligence operation in the world. By 1993, the DEA estimated the Cali Cartel controlled 80% of the global cocaine market. They were grossing $5 billion a year from the United States alone. They owned the largest pharmacy chain in Colombia. Their chairman, Gilberto Rodriguez Orejuela, was a banker. This is the story of how 4 Colombian businessmen built an empire that outsold Pablo Escobar, outmaneuvered him, and then funded the operation that killed him. The Cali Cartel did not start with cocaine. In the early 1970s, 3 young men in the city of Cali, in the Valle del Cauca region of southern Colombia, started smuggling marijuana to the United States. 2 of them were brothers, Gilberto Rodriguez Orejuela and his younger brother, Miguel. The third was a friend named José Santa Cruz Londoño, nicknamed Chepe. By the early 1980s, the 3 of them had pivoted to cocaine. They added a 4th executive, Elmer Herrera, known as Pacho. They sent Pacho to New York City to set up the United States distribution network. And then they made a decision that would define everything that came after. In 1988, the Cali Cartel formally split from Pablo Escobar and the Medellín cartel. Pablo had decided to wage open war on the Colombian government. He was killing politicians, judges, journalists, and police. The 4 Cali bosses thought he was insane. Their strategy was the opposite. Don't fight the state. Buy the state. Don't kill the politicians. Pay them. Don't run from the law. Run a pharmacy chain. That is the entire Cali story. Lock in, because the structure of the Cali Cartel is the entire reason it could do what it did. Where the Medellín cartel was an enforcement empire with one boss at the top, the Cali Cartel was a network of independent cells. Each cell had a manager, called a celeno. Each cell knew only what it needed to know. No single arrest could bring the cartel down. Above the cells sat the 4 executives, Gilberto, Miguel, Chepe, and Pacho. Above them, nothing. They reported only to each other. And around the whole operation sat a layer of legitimate companies: pharmacy chains, banks, real estate, pharmaceutical laboratories, a network of clean paper that made the dirty money disappear. The Cali Cartel was not a drug trafficking organization that ran businesses on the side. It was a business empire that ran a drug trafficking organization. 4 men ran the Cali Cartel. None of them were warlords. All of them were executives. The first is the boss, who was a banker, Gilberto Rodriguez Orejuela, nickname the chess player, born 1939. While running the world's largest cocaine network, Gilberto served as chairman of the board of a Colombian bank called Banco de Trabajadores. He was the strategist. He died in a federal prison in North Carolina on May 31, 2022, while serving a 30-year sentence. The second is the boss who handled operations, Miguel Rodriguez Orejuela, Gilberto's younger brother. the harder one. Where Gilberto strategized, Miguel ran the day-to-day. He is currently still incarcerated in a U.S. federal prison. The third is the boss who ran New York, José Santa Cruz Londoño. Chepe. He oversaw the Cali Cartel's American distribution from New York City for over a decade. After his 1995 arrest, he escaped from a Colombian prison in January 1996. He was killed by Colombian paramilitary group leaders on March 5, 1996, less than 2 months later. The fourth is the boss who built the supply chain, Helmer Herrera, Pacho, the architect of the New York distribution network. He surrendered in 1996. He was killed inside a Colombian prison on November 13, 1998, by a rival cartel hitman while watching a football match in the prison yard. 4 founders, 2 dead in prison, 1 dead in custody, 1 still serving 30 years. Now here's where the Cali Cartel did something nobody else in this niche has done. The Cali Cartel ran a Fortune 500 company. It just happened to also sell cocaine. The business split 3 ways. First, the cocaine supply chain. By the mid-1990s, the Cali Cartel was estimated to control 80% of the American cocaine market and 90% of the European cocaine market. They distributed across Europe through a partnership with the Italian Camorra. Second, the legitimate business empire. The Cali Cartel owned Drogas La Rebaja, the largest pharmacy chain in Colombia. They owned pharmaceutical laboratories, including a company called Pharmacoup. They owned banks. They owned real estate across Cali, Bogotá, and Miami. After their 1995 takedown, the U.S. Office of Foreign Assets Control identified over 700 companies that had operated as Cali Cartel fronts. Third, the bribe network. The cartel maintained a Chilean accountant named Guillermo Palomari, who kept written records of every politician, police officer, judge, and journalist they had paid. In the 1994 Colombian presidential election, Cali Cartel funds were directly traced into the campaign of the winning candidate, Ernesto Samper. Total Cali Cartel annual revenue at its peak, $7 billion from a city of 2 million people. Now lock in, because the takedown of the Cali Cartel is a story most people get backwards. The Cali Cartel did not lose its war with Pablo Escobar. They won it. From 1993 onward, the Cali Cartel funded a vigilante organization called Los Pepes, people persecuted by Pablo Escobar. Los Pepes hunted Pablo's family, his lawyers, his accountants, and his sicarios across Colombia. They killed more than 300 Medellín cartel associates in under a year. On December 2, 1993, Pablo Escobar was shot dead on a Medellín rooftop. The Cali Cartel had funded part of the manhunt that killed him. 2 years later, the Cali Cartel was bigger than Medellín had ever been. The DEA estimated they controlled 80% of the global cocaine market. Then the same Colombian task force that had killed Pablo, the search block, was redirected against Cali. Colombian President Ernesto Samper, whose own campaign had been funded by Cali, was forced by Washington to crack down on the men who had paid for his presidency. On June 9, 1995, the Colombian National Police raided Gilberto Rodríguez Orejuela's home in Cali. They found him hidden in a compartment behind a television set. Within 7 weeks, 6 of the 7 cartel heads were in custody. The death blow came from inside. The cartel's head of security, Jorge Salcedo, contacted the DEA after Miguel Rodríguez Orejuela ordered him to kill the cartel's own accountant. Salcedo and the accountant defected. They handed over every record. DEA Administrator Karen Tandy, after the brothers' 2006 guilty plea, called it, quote, the last nail in the coffin of the Cali Cartel. So is the Cali Cartel still active today? The Cali Cartel is gone. In the 2006 U.S. plea deal, Gilberto and Miguel forfeited $2.1 billion in assets. In exchange, 28 named relatives were removed from the U.S. Treasury's OFAC sanctions list. The cartel's signature legitimate business, the pharmacy chain Drogas La Rebaja, was divested. In 2018, 8 Rodriguez family members were convicted in Colombia of laundering billions of pesos through that same pharmacy chain. The cocaine supply lines the Cali Cartel built did not close. The Norte del Valle cartel absorbed most of the territory by the late 1990s. By the 2000s, the Mexican cartels, first Sinaloa, then CJNG, had taken over the supply chain entirely. Cali built the pipeline. Mexico kept the pipeline. The Cali Cartel is the only major drug cartel in modern history that was beaten by its own paperwork. Gilberto Rodriguez Orejuela died in a North Carolina prison in 2022. Miguel is still in custody there. Chepe Santa Cruz was shot dead 2 months after escaping prison. Pacho Herrera was shot dead in a Colombian prison yard during a football match. They outsmarted Pablo Escobar. They funded the operation that killed him. They became the largest cocaine network on earth. And then, their own head of security walked into the DEA office. 4 gentlemen, $7 billion, 1 accountant's ledger,